So, the third episode I listened to of the Latino USA podcast was Spanish as a first language. Um, I really was interested in the multicultural perspective, um, especially because it is something that I relate to. So, it was about Janine and how she decided to have Spanish be the only language she would speak to her young child, so that they could learn the Spanish language, keep part of their cultural heritage, because they'll hear English everywhere else. And that is something that a lot of Latino parents think of. I know I could relate to it. Growing up, my brother and my parents would speak English to us, and my grandma, because she only speaks Spanish, was our primary caregiver when parents were at work, and so we learned Spanish. But there was a bit of a difference even between me and my brother. So when I was born, we lived with my grandma, so I heard both languages at the same time. I still, to this day, do not know what I learned first. And it's so interesting because Janine, her brother, was very ashamed to speak Spanish. He did not embrace it at first. Now he does, and he actually is teaching his kids Spanish. And I related to that so much. My brother, same thing, so embarrassed. Me, I embraced it. I listened to Spanish music. I would speak Spanish. I still do. And I think for me, I have always agreed that when I have kids, if I have kids, I want to speak Spanish to them first, which is another thing that I think there's a lot of pressure from both sides, because some people feel that they should assimilate, and so it's like, no, English is the predominant language, learn that. But then there are people who don't want to lose their culture, and this is the only way they will hear it, is if their native language is the first language that the kid learn, that their child learns. So it's like, what do? You don't want to lose parts of your culture. But also, people say that it makes it harder, and I don't know if I agree with that, because I think there is value in being bilingual or multilingual. I think it's a very tough choice for parents to make. Just a lot of pressure. And it's so interesting how even when kids are raised in the same household, the difference is. And so that nature versus nurture thing comes up. I'd be interesting to see too. I kind of want to have a conversation with my brother how he feels now. If he ever has kids, if he wants to teach them Spanish first, and how he feels about being a Spanish speaker for someone that always felt uncomfortable. So it got me thinking about relationships and the differences that siblings have. I guess that's it for this one, and I really like this conversation, listening to it, because I thought about it in different ways that I have not before. For me, it was always like, nope, this is what I'm going to do, because that is how most of my cousins, and I've seen my aunts and uncles raise their kids. So I guess it brings up, if that's the only way of life you've known, do you continue that pattern, or do you make your own judgment about how to raise your kids in a multicultural household. Thanks for watching. Bye.